Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, spiritual life coach, and welcome to this week's episode of Her Inspirations, where I conclude the Deep in Knowing series, and this week the topic is groundedness. Before I go into the episode, I just want to share with you ways that I can support you. Firstly, you're listening to Her Inspirations, and each episode I'm exploring with you a different aspect of your spiritual and creative journey. So if you want to continue deeper on your own exploration with this, I encourage you to join the mailing list, where you'll receive emails with additional teaching points and resources for you to explore on your own time. Or if you're someone that has always wanted to be heard, you feel it's time for the world to hear your voice, whether that means you're launching your own podcast, you're putting out more content online, public speaking, or merely being more present and more vocal in your life, I've created Your Awakened Voice for you. This is my course which uses my holistic approach, acknowledging the intricate connection between your physical body, your mind, and your spirit. This course empowers you to discover and develop your own voice. Or if you want to work closer with me, this program is specifically for you conscious creators. If you know there's a purpose to your life, my purpose is to support you confidently, follow your intuition, and create your big vision. For further information on all of these, look at the link in the show notes. From Marcus Aurelius: be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. So as I mentioned at the top, this is the final episode in the Deep in Knowing series, and I felt groundedness was the best way to complete this. Because over the weeks we've explored many emotions, and I've shared with you what they represent and how they affect us, and also the lessons and the opportunity that they present for our growth. I'm going to look at groundedness from a couple of perspectives. So firstly, from our own perspective, so that we're able to find groundedness when we're experiencing extreme emotional shifts, and then also how to maintain groundedness where others are going into their emotions. How can we maintain our center and still help individuals who are in turmoil? How are we able to navigate the intense emotions with equanimity and clarity? And especially when they're reacting to something external, or especially when they're reacting to us. And how can we find understanding that there are many sides to a situation? You'll find that the majority of people will tend to identify with their opinions and their viewpoints, especially when they're not grounded in themselves as individuals, and they also still want to make sure that people like them. These days, having groundedness is pretty much a superpower. There is so much happening in the world that gives rise to us being emotionally triggered and reactionary. And the thing is, when we go directly into reacting from our emotions, we're mostly not able to see what's in front of us, and then we'll be pulled into the polarity of binary thought or a majority standpoint. And that's simply because that's a safety mechanism for ourselves. Then the irony of suggesting that using emotions is problematic is that the emotional reaction to that is that you can then be accused of not caring, or people will suspect that you mean that they should not care about what they're having a reaction to. So at this point in time, we have to take a breath. We have to remember the times that we're living in. We have to maintain the ability and hold the option in our mind for things to not necessarily be what we've believed them to be. We have to be open that there is another possibility outside of left or right, up or down. For example, when it comes to technology, I believe that technology is way ahead of what we understand on the consumer end. So to that end, do we really know what we're looking at when we're looking at the media, which is where the majority of us get our information from, and be that mainstream, alternative, and everything in between? Groundedness refers to a state of being mentally, emotionally, and physically stable and connected to the present moment. It involves being simultaneously rooted in our own self-awareness, but also being aware, fully aware of our surroundings. If we can continue to remain steady and composed in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties, that's going to foster within us inner resilience. Also, it will build within us an emotional fortitude. It will increase our mental clarity and expand our capacity to navigate the challenges that life will inevitably throw at us. And the other perspective I wanted to look at resilience from was from a spiritual standpoint. This is when we have a sense of inner centeredness and presence, an embodied presence, where we can feel anchored to our own spiritual essence or our higher self that we're listening to, communicating with us through our intuition, through the whispers of our soul, so that we're able to notice and answer and trust the nudges that we get when we feel that something else is guiding us to look at the world in a different way and away from the mass thought, but still be able to be in the world. Is finding the way of not totally being sucked into the thought patterns and the density of the world, but also not checking out and completely spiritually bypassing it. Groundedness is to find a way of being in the world, but not of it. It's having an awareness of all of the aspects, knowing who we are on a spiritual level, but also truly understanding where we are and all aspects of what is happening in the world and as many different viewpoints as possible, and being able to hold them all at the same time without necessarily being pulled into one way or the other, but seeing them for what they are, and also understanding how people get to the points of view that they have, because the world is so polarized at the moment and people identify so strongly with one thing that they believe that nothing else is possible to be true. And so to cultivate this, we want to be integrating spiritual insights and really ramping up our spiritual practices in everyday life, grounding our lofty ideals, bringing those crazy wild visions into the physical. And that means acting and moving forward in practical action. So how do we go about cultivating groundedness? In a simple way, firstly, let's connect with nature, literally standing on the ground and being rooted in the earth and also connected to the natural world, so that it reminds us that there are rhythms and cycles that continue, whether we choose to allow ourselves to integrate with them or not. But by integrating in the natural rhythms and the natural cycles of nature, we can then actually move with nature while we exist in this increasingly technological world. And also find a way of integrating the polarities that exist within our own self. So the areas that we're light, and also looking at the areas where we're darker, the shadow areas of ourselves. Embracing our strengths, showing our strengths, but also being able to show our vulnerabilities without feeling that we're losing anything. It's finding solid ground of our own conviction and pledging to stay there. Being in total respect and honor of what it is that makes us individual, being authentic, knowing who we are, and deciding to yourself what is important to you and being truthful about it. Is it more important that you're popular, or is it more important that you're authentic? Are you comfortable of living in the insecurity of people pleasing, or are you developing the strength within yourself to stand in your beliefs in spite of people not understanding where you're coming from and who you are? Are you able to be flexible? Can you hold your hand up and actually see where you are wrong and make changes as and when that's necessary? Are you able to learn and unlearn? Are you able to see how others arrived at their point of view, whether you believe that they are right or they're wrong? Because even when people have the most extreme views in this world, trying to work out the journey that took them there, because most people are still trying to figure out the world. And a lot of the time they will get caught into an ideology or in a belief because they believe it's the right thing to do. And then it's very difficult for the majority of people who do not have that groundedness in self to then move away from something that they start to feel is not aligning with them. Not everyone has the strength to do that. And another way to cultivate your groundedness is to have a connection to your purpose and your meaning and your values. What are they? What are your core values and your principles? What is guiding your decisions and your actions? Are they coming from a place of authenticity and integrity? Building that sense of purpose will facilitate a deeper connection and your conviction to your own journey towards what life means to you and what you will do in order to create the life that is meaningful for you and is purposeful for you. Where is your life going? What is the greater direction of your life? What is going to give you the most fulfillment? What do you feel that you are being inspired to create? What ideas won't let you go? And how can you remain grounded in moments of being triggered or moments of feeling distress? When that happens, is there a moment that you can just take a breath and fall back and observe exactly what it is that you're seeing or hearing and feeling? Are you able to maintain that calm and not immediately react? If you're hearing something, if you're seeing something, is there a way that you can hear it, repeat it, hear it again and see it again, so that you can make sure that what you thought you received in the first place is actually what is being communicated to you? Can you be confident in your expression when you're faced with other people's fear, anger, apathy, shame, or guilt? Can you keep your heart open with those situations, especially when you feel justified to let off, to react to the way that people are reacting to you? Can you release the ego's need for control, for recognition, for validation? Are you able to not take things personally? Because oftentimes it's never really about you. Can you surrender? Can you trust? Can you trust in the unfolding of life and the flow and the able to surrender control over the outcomes sometimes and just let things be as they have to be? Do you have faith in a higher power? Do you have faith in the divine intelligence, the order of the universe that is guiding us, especially in these moments of uncertainty and it seems relentless adversity? In fostering empathy and compassion, can we remember that ultimately there is an interconnectedness with all of life, and we're just, again, seeing things from different perspectives and different beliefs based on a multiple of journeys and decisions that we've made along the way that have pushed us into such disparate points of view? Can we appreciate the multiple experiences that people have in life and remain present and then aware to the abundance in that? If everyone's able to see so many things, there's so many things around us. And can we deepen the groundedness by fostering a present moment awareness and cultivating a sense of awe and wonder for the beauty of life? And as we go on, if we can build more prayer, more meditation, more yoga and breath work to help cultivate present moment awareness and groundedness, spend more time in nature, walking in the woods, gardening, or simply just sitting outside and just feeling the wind on your face and being able to reconnect with the earth and build up on practices that promote being in our body, being present in our body. So to conclude, after going through all of the emotions and seeing the gift that all of the emotions that I've touched upon in this Deeper Knowing series, there's so much colours, there's so much available to us in terms of what we can experience, especially when we're moving around in these extreme feelings, but also as well to find a sense of a stillness, a standpoint within all of those, to be able to feel, but also to be able to come back to ourselves, to come back to our own groundedness when we experience all of these differences. To close from Viktor E. Frankl, between stimulus and response there is a space, and in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations, and that was the conclusion of the Deeper Knowing series. I'd love to know how that resonated with you. Also remember, if you join the mailing list, you can receive the additional emails that go alongside all of the episodes of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. If you want more information about me, go to my website. It's carolmaywhittick.com, carolmaywhittick.com. Find me on Facebook and LinkedIn, carolmaywhittick.com, and on Instagram, Casmic, CAZMICK. So until the next episode and a brand new series for you, take care. Bye-bye.